Designer, when do you use evaluation in your process of design? A lot of us use it intuitively throughout the process in an informal way. As we are sketching a design in our notebook, we're evaluating regularly just as part of our thought process. Is this going to work? Do I need to change that? Maybe I should sketch another one with this little change. That's part of evaluation. As you build models, you're evaluating each one. I have a whole series of these little pieces that I created for a tool to replace the part that broke in it. And I started out with one that ended up being too small for the actual way that I wanted to use the tool. And I gradually created new models. And each time I put that on, evaluated, was it big enough for what I wanted to do with the tool, enough support for the arms, etc., until I finally ended up at the far end of the process with a piece that worked the way I wanted. But I didn't formally go through a process for that. I just took the model each time I printed it and tried it out and compared it against what I wanted it to happen and informally judged, how well is this working? What changes do I need to make? And most of us do that as part of our design process intuitively. That's a piece that just makes sense. A more formal design process requires thought throughout the whole design process. In your design journal, if you take a look at the design process pages, one of the first things that you'll do in your design as you define it is list what are the requirements for this design? What's necessary to have this design be successful? And similarly, what are the constraints? What can the design not do, or what must it do within a range in order to be judged successful? Later on in the design process, I can come back to these constraints and requirements and judge my design against them, evaluating it for its success because I've defined my criteria. Similarly, if I look at a skills project, the very first thing I'm going to deal with is what skills do I need to learn? And as I go through the process of that project, I'm going to look at how did my process work? How well do I know that skill that I wanted to learn? That is judging, that is evaluating my success. And it's true no matter what kind of project you want to work on. If you design the project, whether that's a project to learn a skill or build a product or build a website or code a program, if I design my project to begin with, investigate and plan that to begin with before I start creating, or as part of the process of creating, I'm much more able to formally judge, to formally evaluate at the end of my process how well it worked. I can also look back because I have a recording of my project stage by stage and judge how well is my process working. Now, I've put this together with these particular design processes, but maybe this doesn't work for your particular style or the kinds of projects that you want. Maybe there are different questions that would be more useful for your process. Maybe there's different information that needs to be stored at the beginning or end of your process. And only by having a record of your process to evaluate at the end can you make those judgment calls. How do you use formal evaluation? When would it be useful for you?